Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Library-ish, the podcast where we explore books, libraries, and all the fascinating ways they connect to our lives. I'm Tracy.
And I'm January. Thanks so much for spending a little time with us today. Whether you're listening to your morning commute, folding laundry, working in the garden, or maybe browsing the library shelves, we're really glad you're here.
Today's episode starts with a question that seems simple, but turns out to be a lot more complicated than most of us realize. When you buy a book or a movie or a video game, do you actually own it?
You know, it's something many of us probably haven't thought about much until recently, when headlines started popping up about people losing access to digital media they'd already paid for.
So today we're taking a friendly, balanced look at the question of digital versus physical media. From print books and vinyl records to DVDs, ebooks, audiobooks, and streaming services, we're not here to tell you one format is better than the other, but we will be discussing the positive and negatives of both formats. And hopefully by the end of the episode, you'll have more information to help you make the best choice between the two formats for your use case scenario.
We'll talk about what happened with some recent digital media removals, why it matters, what current research says about how people are choosing between digital and physical formats, and the strongest arguments on both sides.
So whether you're a devoted ebook reader, a vinyl collector, someone with shelves full of Blu-rays, or you've gone completely digital, we think you'll find something interesting in today's conversation.
So grab a comfortable seat and, of course, your favorite beverage.
And let's go. So digital versus physical media.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow. You know, it's a brand new thing for a lot of us, you know, because back when I was a kid, it was all books. The computer was very new. Aging myself. The computer was very new and everything was books. And now kids have all these options. Adults have all these options.
Well, let me tell you something about being old when it comes to media, right? So there used to be a huge debate because there was a huge push toward media will be on demand. People will watch television on demand. And every time it got brought up by some futurist in some like morning talk show setting, no one thought that anyone would want to be an active participant in choosing what they watch from hour to hour. But we live in an age now where everything is on demand all the time. The only thing is it's available on demand, and you think you're buying it. Really what you're paying is an extended rental fee.
You don't actually own the digital stuff. You own the right to read it, and you own the right to have it for a certain amount of time.
What you own is access. You don't have possession of a thing,
and
you have access to the thing. And it's very different.
For $20 a book, still yet, and just to have access, not to own the book,
And it is particularly galling for someone like me who was very interested in getting digital media to see the paradigm shift of the public is not allowed to access streaming digital media without going through a corporation. But AI is more than welcome to make access to anyone's collections that it chooses and appropriate that for its own causes. So we're going to go ahead and talk about some of the different things. We're going to talk about how this debate really came to be, because we are doing this episode in particular because of a specific incident that just happened recently, having to do with the PlayStation platform. And then we're going to talk about some of the different things that have happened in terms of media ownership and whether that is a point that you look to help make your decisions about whether you buy something digital, which takes a lot less space in its own way, takes a different kind of space, but less space, as opposed to owning something physical.
Yeah, well, the video game thing came up because pretty soon our branches are going to have video game checkouts.
Yes,
which will be very exciting.
very exciting.
We we got a grant through North Valley Community Foundation with our own little library advisory board, and they're gonna give us video games to put for checkouts. You'll be able to check out and take one home, and so on.
We will have consoles as well as games. Some games will be across all 6 Butte County branches. Some games will only be available exclusively at individual branches. And these will be items that you will check out for in-branch use, except for the games. The consoles will be in-branch use. Yes. The games themselves, you'll be able to take home with you.
You know, it's so
funny. So excited about this.
I know, I'm thrilled. And it's so funny because we got this funding. And then I was talking to one of our coworkers up here in Paradise who games a lot. And he's like, hey, you got physical games just in time to have all the physical games go digital. And I said, wait, what?
Yeah.
He's like, yes, Sony is coming up soon for the PlayStation 5. You know, they don't have disk drives anymore. They're not doing physical media. It's all going to be online. And I sat there and went, well, that's just not fair. Because we just got video games. That's not fair.
Yeah. And then what happened subsequently to that, at the end of June, PlayStation actually pulled 500 Studio Canal movies off of their platform.
Made
it was
a
actually
lot
501.
Put that one in there.
Don't forget the one, because that one will obviously be your favorite film.
Yes. Whatever your favorite thing is, that was that one.
The one. And what it did was there were hundreds of thousands of people who had paid $20 a pop for these items.
Yeah.
And they're just gone from the collection. And this is something now, there is actually quite an extensive history of this happening, where companies are altering their collections and thereby altering people's private collections with very little notice, and now no apology whatsoever. So let's talk a little bit about the history of that, because this has been happening for quite some time.
It has, and it all, I think, starts with the first sale doctrine. Because the first sale doctrine is when you buy something back in the day when everything was physical.
Yeah.
And we rode dinosaurs to school. It's an amazing time. Anyway, so when you would buy something, that's yours, and you can decide what to do with it after that. If I were to purchase something and then light it on fire, I'm allowed to do that because it's mine. I own it. I gave someone money. They gave me a product, and now it's mine. In the case of books, if I read it, then I can donate it. Then I can give it to someone. Then I can loan it to someone. Then I can rip pages out and make little origami cranes if I so wish to, because of the first doctrine. Well, when it comes to digital items, they don't have the same rules. You know, how do they do that? Well, if one person, because physical items tend to degrade. Books tend to degrade. Even anything, they tend to break down. So you can only use them so many times before they're just literal dust in your hands. Digitals don't. Digitals, as long as you keep your devices updated, they can have them.
That's the thing. They do. So digital items, and so everybody knows, like, I'm talking, not to say I'm some expert in this field, but I do have a certification in digital asset management. So this has been something through getting my MLIS. I spent a lot of time contemplating. The fact is that there is a toll with digital items. They will degrade over time. Platforms also go in and out of use. So you can, and this goes across all medium, whether it's photography, whether it's videography, whether it's books, whatever. You use a particular platform, and that platform has a cross-section of users that allow the shareability of a particular item. But see, then those things, they evolve. Operating systems evolve. Operating systems then make platforms obsolete as the operating system evolves, meaning that digital material has to migrate. Depending on how many times you copy a digital item, again, more with photography and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
that digital item degrades.
That's fair. Yeah.
So this is kind of the whole catch-22
Mm-hmm.
in archiving circles about whether digital or physical media is preferred,
Mm-hmm.
because there is no good answer to the question.
Mm-hmm.
Digital assets are very accessible. You can, a large geographical area, you can make them accessible to people. Someone at 3 a.m. in India can access that same item at 3 p.m.
Very convenient.
across
Yeah.
the world.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to require alteration at some point.
Mm-hmm.
That alteration will have consequences. And that costs money, it costs time,
Mm-hmm.
and access.
Well, I think it's Amazon just now released a statement stating that they're moving forward with a new like Kindle.
Yeah.
And anything on the old Kindle, like it won't be able to be moved to the new one.
Well, and backwards compatibility is a huge issue as well, in terms of once a platform becomes obsolete, when you transfer it to the new platform, will you have to do a transfer? Can you migrate? Is there accessibility from the new platform to the old platform? And sometimes digital media is still stored on physical media. I don't know if any of you remember floppy drives, but those were digital files that were stored in a physical form that is now an obsolete platform. It is an obsolete item. And if something was on a floppy, anybody who's bought a laptop in the last 2 years and knows all the things that you used to be able to burn to DVD or burn to CD with your CD rewritable, all your music files that you were able to get down to a tiny little MP3 and fit 100 music files on one little CD. Those are not even accessible anymore.
No.
Not to mention the fact that the CD, that particular media, breaks down in and of itself. CDs and DVDs also break down, and the digital files become difficult to access. So talking about the technical aspects of this, that it is, you are the snake eating itself. You are a dog chasing its tail. You are there. The only good use case you can make is for how you personally are going to access the data and how you personally are going to use the data. It's like trying to pick the best platform and the newest thing, that it is going to become obsolete.
That's fair.
But that's the thing about physical media. While physical media does degrade, like books do deteriorate, spines break, pages fall out, things like that, you still have that physical media.
Yeah, you still own it. It's mine.
So in that sense, it does degrade, but it degrades in a different way. Where you have the issue is, though, what happens when that book that you love very much stops being published?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things, like talking about the life cycle within the corporate system. One of the many instances that people became aware of this thing being an issue was Amazon removing titles like 1984 and Animal Farm out of people's collections with no notice. People opening up their Kindle and finding these particular titles were gone, even though they had purchased them, they thought outright. The titles had disappeared on their devices. Why? Because Amazon made certain collection decisions. Why do they make the collection decisions? Because their hard drive space is limited. While they seem to own the world,
they kind of do.
Storage costs time.
It does.
It's money. And there is space. Hard drives, again, the items that are digital must be stored in the physical world somehow. They're like, we only have so much hard drive space. There are new books being purchased exponentially more every day. Who's reading Animal Farm? If they've got Animal Farm, they've got Animal Farm. They don't need it. So see, this is what has started to happen, where these companies have to make a choice.
Sony said the same thing. Sony said that's the very same reason why they're going to a downloadable thing, because video games, they're getting so big and they just don't fit on the CDs anymore.
Oh yeah, especially with all the innovations.
Oh, all
the
of them.
digital graphics are becoming so sophisticated.
Mhm.
Again, that takes up space. So it's easier to hold those on a
Yeah.
digital server that's somewhere that you don't even know,
Mhm.
sucking up water somewhere, as opposed to
Allegedly.
as opposed to like a physical disc that you can
Yeah.
put on your shelf.
Mhm. It's a sticky situation when it comes down to it.
There are no good answers.
No.
There is nothing you can look at where you
Mhm.
take empirical data and hold one side against the other and
Mhm.
go, that is universally the best decision. It's got
Right.
to be your use case scenario. So when
Mhm.
you're buying digital media, you have to think about one of the things. Paramount Plus also got rid of, this is one of the ones that shocked me, their MTV News collection.
Mhm.
They did that. They got rid of it in 2024. They completely purged the archive from Paramount Plus, which had been accessed. These were items that had been produced between 1996 and 2023.
Mhm.
They are 30 years of journalism, music journalism, artist interviews,
Mhm.
cultural documentation, gone without a word. And people unable to access that at all, with no follow-up, no backups on things like, you may have heard of the Wayback Machine,
Mhm.
which is where old websites can be archived so that
Mhm.
you can access them. If you're at all invested in the YouTube drama community, you know about the Wayback Machine because it very often comes up.
Uh-huh.
Any internet drama. I look for that on, that tweet, and I had to go to the Wayback Machine to find that old tweet.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's how that's done, but it's interesting.
Mhm.
It's terrifying how much you can lose, how much media can just disappear.
Fair.
And when you're spending your money on digital media, and if you're not making a copy, which you can do if you have the means legally, as long as it's for your personal use.
Mhm.
We are not lawyers. We are not.
This is not legal
This
advice.
is not
Please do
legal
not take it as
advice.
such.
Yes.
Mhm.
But you can make a copy of things yourself. It's just very difficult to do,
Mhm.
especially if you are not computer literate.
That's me.
uh,
I'm like, I has tablet, I has book. That is all.
yeah. Then basically what you're doing is you're just accessing it on someone else's server.
Mhm.
You're not owning the item. You don't have full possession of the item.
No, you pay for access. You pay to just like almost just like a streaming network.
Mhm.
There was a man that came in today. He was he's the first time I've ever seen him. But he was wearing a Doctor Who shirt. And he comes in, he's like, who? And I was poking fun at him.
Who
Yeah.
are you?
And I said, you mean the doctor? I haven't seen the doctor today. And he looks at me, I was like, oh yeah. And we were talking, and I'm like, yeah, I've only seen up to the episodes with Matt. I forget his last name. But this particular Who version of Who, after the other versions of Who, this version. And I'm like,
So David Tennant, and then
after
the guy
David
after
Tennant,
David
yeah,
Tennant.
Matt something or other,
Yeah,
after the guy
Matt.
David. Anyway, not the point of the story. But I said, I've only gotten that far, and then the streaming network that I was watching it on ripped away the whole series, so I haven't been able to finish it because none of the other streaming networks has it. And he looks at me, he's like, don't you work at a library? And I said, well, yeah, if we have the DVDs. He's like, no. Don't you know how to research and find it on your own without need from those? He was hinting, why don't you just pirate it? It made me so ashamed because this man had to be at least 60 years old. And, and
that's kind of in the pocket.
Right. And he looks at me and he's like, why don't you work at a library? You got your MLIS at research. How come you don't find it elsewhere? And I'm like, because I don't do that, sir. But yeah, I was watching it, and then the streaming network took it away because that's legally that's what they're allowed to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're in the middle of watching it. It doesn't
Absolutely.
matter if you pay for it. They have the right over it, and it's just same way with books, same way with anything that you buy digitally.
Yeah.
You don't own it.
Yeah.
You're purchasing the right to view it on someone else's server.
Absolutely.
And
I will say, with visual media, even before streaming, this was sometimes a problem. I watch a lot of British television, and particularly in Britain, because they only had the 4 networks for the longest time. And if a show moved from one network to another, the previous years would disappear. So a lot of my favorite British comics, and actually, if you're a fan of the British Baking Show, this actually happened as well. There are several seasons that were done in the beginning that I believe were with BBC that are not necessarily accessible because the show moved to ITV or Channel 4. And now they own the rights to that, so the previous production cannot be shown because they didn't buy those.
Yeah.
But they also are not able to be streamed because the right to the show is owned by the new network. So see, this is another problem with digital media is that the rights, it's all about the rights to the content and what that does to the availability
and who
too.
owns the rights. And you know who doesn't own any of this? We don't.
Right. Well, and the fact is, with all the consolidation of companies, that is also a thing that impacts whether a company is able to stream an item or not. Because again, if it's owned by a particular division and that division is not picked up in a purchase, that division is just left outside of a purchase, then the new network that owns the things will not have access to that or will not. So like it becomes very complicated the way these rights are parsed.
Now, are you talking about the digital rights management tool that when everyone talks about Kindle stuff and see, I was looking at it and it's the digital rights management tool, according to what I read.
DRM is what it's typically known as, and that's what you'll see. That is actually a protection. That's anybody who used to have cable back in the Z channel days, right?
Yeah.
Remember when sometimes you'd put the cable in the back of the TV, you'd just be able to see a little bit of the image, but you would also see a lot of the noise? DRM does that but for books.
Oh, well, that's nice.
So that is why when you get a book from the library, it will disappear off your device. DRM is the platform that sets the schedule and allows you access and then retracts access at a certain time and pulls the item back.
Oh, like Libby, like when we get it from Libby.
Well, DRM is the tool that Libby uses to manage patron access.
Okay.
That's a tool.
It's a tool.
It's a tool. It's a tool. And you can break DRM if you know how. But you should not do that. No. Again, not legal advice. This is not something that you should be messing with if you don't, but it can be done.
I did not realize you'd be so elbows deep into this topic. I forgot it was just you and me, and I was actually, for a beat, I was waiting for the audience to respond.
You're like, does anybody know?
I'm sorry, Traci.
It's okay.
Okay, I'm a little loopy. It's fine. It's fine.
It's okay.
We continue.
I'm going to go over a few of the, even though I'm talking all the time, I'm going to go over, like I say, the few of the incidences beyond the MTV news. Some of the other incidences that recently happened that have brought this particular issue to people's attention. Several class action suits against Amazon for pulling books out of people's collections, including class action lawsuits 2021, 2025. Seems like every few years one comes up. Also, there was Crunchyroll, is another one. It was actually Funimation shut down and accounts moved to Crunchyroll, but Crunchyroll said it didn't support Funimation digital copies.
No.
So those, when Funimation accounts closed and became Crunchyroll accounts, the Funimation items that those people own did not go with them to their new account. So these are all different ways that you can actually lose access to your digital media.
You know, it's so interesting because I always thought, hey, I'm giving you money. That means I own what you give me. I always
Well,
thought that in my brain because I grew up with
that's
physical
always
media.
been. That's always been.
I give
I
you
mean,
money,
that's
you give
supposed
me
to be the
things.
principle of capitalism.
Right?
It's exchanging value for value.
Right. And so it never occurred to me that I didn't actually own the items because I went through the campfire and my house burned down. And you don't evacuate with books apparently. It made me crazy wanting to do that apparently.
As much as one would like to,
And
one should not.
right, that's what they say because they're heavy. And
and those of us that have them have a lot of them.
Right.
Bless y'all who are like 25, 30 books and no more. Like,
no.
bless you, because
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, no, we got many. And I had many at this time. I had multiple bookshelves because I enjoyed having my own little library. I had one anyway. So after the fire, I got myself a Kindle and I've been buying things primarily on my Kindle because I have in the back of my head, all my things burnt. It could happen again. I want to make sure that I can grab all my wonderful literary friends and leave with them. So anytime a book that I liked, went on sale or anytime it was available, I would buy it on the Kindle, the mobile, form. But I don't actually own them. And Amazon has done that where a title that I had just kind of disappears, but I always got the money back for it. So it was like, oh, okay, well, that's no big deal. A lot of these things are happening and people aren't getting refunded for it.
No, in fact, they don't have to refund you.
Yeah, there's a rule in there that says that you don't.
Especially now, there was a law that was passed. Let me see if I can find it in my notes. It's in California. It's called AB 2426, and it took effect January 1st of 2025. And it requires sellers to clearly disclose that when someone pays for a digital piece of media, that what they're paying for is access, not ownership. The days of them just being able to do that without disclosing it, without making people aware, are over.
Because it was very unclear.
But it's like now, I mean, obviously I think most people do know this now. But the FTC has also warned consumers that clicking buy on a digital product also means, again, it's just access through your account. It is not.
You don't own it.
There is no, you have no expectation of retaining those items when you pay for them legally. There is no understanding between you and the company. You have no right to assume that you own those things. But this brings up an interesting point about how digital media can be helpful in terms of purchasing physical media. Physical media is fragile. It is in a different way from digital, but still fragile.
It's burnable.
It's also very expensive. It takes up space that a lot of us don't have.
Yeah.
Also, things become outdated, and then you have this physical piece. It's much more difficult to get rid of. We've talked in episodes before about weeding and about organization, where we've talked about how people find it very difficult to throw away a physical book or to recycle a physical book.
And it's a lot of that is because they equate the value of the item, like the physical item, with the ideas that are inside.
Yes.
So they don't, anytime someone, and they caught me a couple of times, Tracy, throwing books in the bin, and they come up and they're like, why are you throwing those away?
Yeah.
And it's, well, these are tattered, and they equate the two. They equate the value that's inside the book is being demolished. And that's not what's happening when we read.
And frankly, that is representative of a person whose heart and head is in the right place. Destroying media for the sake of destroying media, like is happening in some instances in data centers right now, where they're digitizing things and then destroying them. This just came out this week, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yes. Again, we are not lawyers. This is not legal advice. This is also all alleged. But if you don't want to see physical media destroyed, that is because you've been conditioned the correct way. You don't want to see, physical media is representative of the ideas that are contained therein, and we don't want to see ideas destroyed. Absolutely don't. No. Regardless of what we think of them, ideas are here to be preserved. Thoughts, ideas, and so your heart is in the right place. But what's great about digital media is you can use digital copies which very often are cheaper because they are physically easier to produce, to help you choose what to keep in your physical library. Digital copies of music, digital books, audiobooks. Read or use those items in their digital format as like a taste test, and just determine, and then your physical library can absolutely represent what you want it to represent, because you already are aware. And look, we all know that you're out there buying every EP by your favorite artist, buying every version. You've got the one from Japan, the one from Germany, the 15, the big disc, the little disc, the one that's colored blue. We know that. But that's because that's your favorite artist. Those are the purchases that you want to make. Sometimes with books, you don't know if an author is good.
No.
You don't know if a series is going to work for you. You could test it out digitally with very little investment.
Oh gosh, yes.
And then go ahead and get on board physically and invest that space, in your space for that.
I'll do that often.
Definitely helpful.
Libby in particular, I'll do that often because
that's where we come in as a library, because you could do it for free.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. And I can do that sitting in my bed, in my PJs. Yes. I can click that borrow now, and look, it's here for me to read.
Right.
And if I really like it, then I can go and buy, one that I can read over and over again. That physical, physical item.
Right.
This recently, because I'm in school, I'm getting my master's.
Yes.
And my mommy bought me a desk so that I could, not be curled around my books like a goblin. Yeah. But she got me one, and I had to get rid of 2 of my bookshelves in order to fit it. I know. And so I sat there and I'm like, I have to
but
do
they're
this.
My children.
I know, I can't choose my children. But I prioritized books that I didn't read over and over and over again, because I have comfort reads where I go back and I reread. So those books I sacrificed, and I did, if I've got it on Kindle, and I'm not attached to it that much, then I would sacrifice that one to the great donation gods, where we have them at our sales, and you should come and buy them.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
they need a new home.
And that's another thing too about physical media, is that it is easily accessible. And it's tangible. So you can go to a bookstore and you can grab a copy. You could come to the library and browse through and find things. Digital media is very difficult to browse. Typically, when you're shopping digital media, you are looking for something specific, either a specific topic or a specific artist, or something where you are. It's kind of like needing to have an itch scratched.
Yeah.
You're looking for something very specific, so you find the item that fits into that slot. Whereas with physical mediums, you are able to explore a little more before you make any kind of commitment, even a loose one of just, I'm going to thumb through it, before you make any kind of commitment to the particular medium. You have that access.
Well, digital one, you have to download all. If I come here and I pull out a book, I can look at a couple of pages and put it away.
Right.
You got to download the whole thing.
Right.
And then if you don't like it, you got to undo. And it doesn't take very long, but still, it's the whole thing.
And it, like if you're downloading from the library, it'll automatically disappear from your device, as we said, DRM
Convenient.
Tool.
Yeah, it's very convenient.
Which is very nice. Although you can be taken by surprise if you're not expecting your due date to come up. You're 3/4 of the way through something, and all of a sudden,
gone. Libby does an awesome job at reminding. I get Libby notifications, and it's like, you're almost done. Do you want to renew? So that's nice. But yeah, if you'd missed the notifications and you open it up and it's not there anymore,
or if they've taken it out of your library,
that's awful,
without you knowing.
Yeah,
that's the thing about the physical media. If you're building for your own catalog, your own collection, you're the one making those choices. Someone isn't making them for you. So I'm going to go over the 3 main arguments supporting digital media, and the 3 main arguments for hard copy media. So I would say the 3 mains for digital are convenience and access. Very easy. You can take a Kindle with you everywhere. There are even tiny little e-readers that are like literally that big. There are also other accessibility features, such as you could adjust the screen brightness. You can adjust the text size, which is one of the reasons I think that why one might be surprised to learn that a lot of our digital book readers are actually older folks. A lot of people think, oh, kids must be reading ebooks like crazy. It's actually older folks because they can adjust that text size to whatever works best for them so they can read it.
Because, you know, the large type, we do have large type here for checkout as far as physical media, but the publishers will only release large type editions for this teeny tiny window of time.
Yes.
And if you've ever checked out a large type book, you'll find that a lot of them are a little thicker because they've got more pages.
Yeah.
And our book drop, as convenient as a system as it is, it is kind of a slow death for really, really thick books. And so once that book is tattered and we take it out of the collection, the publisher has stopped publishing the large type and we can't replace it with anything. So patrons that get the ebooks on their readers or their tablets, it's just one little whoop. Oh, good, I can see.
Absolutely.
It's very convenient.
And there are other features like many have dictionaries. So if you're reading something and you don't know a particular word, you can look it up right away.
I do that so often. Like unctuous. That was a fun one I learned from Hercupero.
There you go. I mean, so that's another thing. The other thing is affordability. And it's just very, very much in many cases less expensive to be able to get access to that particular thing digitally than it is to buy a whole analog, you know, like even getting a movie. I was looking at some movies, recent releases that were on Prime. I was just looking at this over the weekend and I was thinking, gosh, that rental fee, because they're so new, they still have rental fees. And I was like, oh, that's kind of expensive for that. But then I thought about it and I was like, but how much is a night at a movie theater where it's like the ticket, the popcorn, the soda, the whatever. That is a reasonable price because I can get all that, you know, here at home. So the three main arguments for hard copy media are you have control over it, you own it, you can watch it whenever you want. And literally, like, except under extreme circumstances like a fire, no one can take that away from you. Argument two is the reliability and preservation. So you're not relying on a third party to give you access to this. So if it's something that's very important to you that you want access to, like there are many movies that I have purchased, especially if it's unusual media. I want access to it, and I want access to it in its original form, not something that's been edited or changed for digital content. I want access to it in its original form. And therefore, if you purchase that, you're insured access to that. It's reliable access to that. The other thing is the cultural value. Like I said, you want all those different versions of your favorite artist's music. You want all the different EPs and the LPs and the collections and the greatest hits and the things. So you can have that in a way that's very satisfying with physical media, where you can have all those things with digital media, but anybody who has a record collection, big or small, knows the satisfaction of having that out. I have very little vinyl, but what little I have, I treasure. You know, and it's, you know, you don't get that visceral satisfaction with digital media that you do with physical media.
You know, in Chico, they did a program where they took vinyl records and they painted them and they heated them with a heat gun and then they folded them into
they made
bowls.
them into little like vases and things.
Oh, vinyl.
While we're talking smack about both formats, and the fact is, as a library, we're kind of caught in the middle because we provide access to you in a way that kind of the corporations do. You don't get to keep it permanently.
No.
You do have to return it so that other people can enjoy that.
But we don't want your money.
It's a different case.
Yeah.
You know, you're not having it taken away from you for no one to enjoy. Other people will enjoy that after you, which is, you know, why your possession of the object is temporary. But really what it's about is access mattering, ownership mattering, preservation matters, and choice matters. And the library is kind of the nexus of all of these things, you know, providing the public with access and the opportunity to be exposed to different things and the choice without you having to make a permanent commitment of any kind to those items. And I just think it's about choosing the difference between what you want to own and what's good for your use, what's good for you to use, and then what is easier for you to just get through a third party like a library or something else.
Well, and what it comes down to it is if you want to own it, if that is your goal, buy physical media. 100%.
Yes.
If that is your goal, to own it, to have it be yours.
Well, it's literally the only way.
It really is. I mean, none of the digital stuff, you own it. You don't own any of it. You own the right to access it for the amount of time that the company decides is pertinent.
Yes.
That's it. And we are similar in the fact that you have to give our stuff back, but we don't want your money unless you break it.
Also that. It's all free. That is a minor sticking point as well that makes us different.
They want it because they want to make money, and we're just like, have fun. It is information. It is free. It is our whole purpose in life is to provide you with the information that you need, want, and to move on with your goals, and we do it for free. I mean, we get paid and all, but I mean, we don't charge you.
We get
the consumer, for each individual piece of information like a bookstore would, like Amazon would, it's just, but if you want to own it, you have to buy the physical media.
Well, and I think that's something that specifically one should keep in mind is that if you're buying digital media, if that's where you're spending your money, and there's no guarantee of ownership, and it can be removed from your collection at any time without any notice. If you haven't considered getting involved with your local library, if you haven't, wherever you're at, whether it's Butte County or outside, if you haven't considered or looked into what is available through your local library, maybe it's time you do that. Because if having digital media is easier for you and a choice that you feel works better with your lifestyle, with your collection, with your space, the library is an excellent source and should probably be the first place you go to try to find the medium, whatever the medium is of the item that you're looking for. Check out your local library first, because if you can only guarantee yourself temporary ownership of the thing, why should you pay someone for something you could get for free from a library?
I mean, even when it comes to the devices necessary, if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I would love to go to digital, but I don't have a tablet, I don't have a Kindle, I don't have the finances to buy. Tracy, do you know how expensive that stuff is?
I do indeed.
Yeah, we've got those. If you want to try it out, see if it's something that you'd like to invest in, come check out our Kindle Fire.
That's right.
We have those.
And check your local library. I guarantee you they have technology available that you can access in some form that would be able to help you access these digital files. And if you're a person, look, in this economy, I mean, you should do yourself a favor and look at that, because they're there for you. This is what we do. This is what we're here for.
Everything is so expensive. Groceries, everything is so expensive. You got to find the free where you can, and the library is free. You pay for it with your taxes, so you actually, you've already paid for us. You've already paid for all of these things. So come in and use them.
Yep. So we've taken a look at digital, we've taken a look at analog or physical media. We hope some of what we've said has helped you to be able to make some choices about what will work best for you and your personal collection.
And remember, the library is always available for both formats.
Yes.
Anytime you need an item, please let us know and let us give you a recommendation. We're happy to do so.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah,
bye.